What Kind of Paradise is a contemporary literary novel that explores themes of isolation, survival, and the dangerous allure of utopian ideals. It follows a teenage girl growing up in an off-grid environment with her father, whose radical worldview begins to unravel into something far darker. Premise: the protagonist, a teenage girl, often referred to as Jane Esme, lives in a remote cabin with her widowed father. At first, their life seems idyllic, hunting, fishing, and living free from the trappings of modern society. But beneath the surface lies her father's growing obsession with rejecting technology, government, and community. When he begins writing a radical manifesto, Jane Esme realizes she's being drawn into a dangerous world of paranoia, extremism, and violence. The paradise her father envisions is not freedom, but control. Characters: Jane Esme, the teenage narrator, torn between loyalty to her father and her growing awareness of his instability. The father, charismatic yet increasingly unhinged, he embodies the dangers of isolation and radical ideology. Community outsiders, occasional visitors or neighbors who highlight the contrast between normal society and the father's extremist worldview. Plot highlights: Jane Esme describes her daily life in the wilderness, initially romanticized as self-sufficient and pure. Her father's manifesto begins to dominate their lives, filled with anti-society rhetoric. She discovers unsettling truths about his past and his intentions, including possible ties to violence. The tension escalates when outsiders threaten their isolation, forcing Jane Esme to confront the reality of her father's paradise. The climax reveals the devastating consequences of blind loyalty and the fragility of innocence in the face of extremism. Themes: isolation versus community. The novel questions whether true freedom can exist without connection to others. Radical ideology. It critiques the dangers of extremist thinking and the seductive promise of utopia. Coming of age. Jane Esme's journey is one of awakening as she learns to question authority and reclaim her own identity. Parental control. The story explores the complex bond between parent and child, especially when love is entangled with manipulation. Style. The prose is lyrical yet unsettling, blending natural imagery with psychological tension. The narrative voice captures both the innocence of youth and the creeping dread of realizing that paradise may be a lie. Reception. Readers describe What Kind of Paradise as haunting, thought-provoking, and impossible to put down. It appeals to fans of literary suspense and novels that explore the intersection of family, ideology, and survival. By its conclusion, the novel leaves readers questioning the cost of isolation and the dangers of chasing perfection in a flawed world.